Hey everybody, welcome to Live with Kori. I have a special guest with me today, and her name is Fiona Joy Hawkins, and she is from Australia. And she's in the US to do a lot of fun stuff. Hey Fiona!
Hi. Thanks for having me. This is fun. This is
Yeah.
great. I actually get to sit here and talk to you for half an hour, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to have you here too. I got to see you a couple of weeks ago in LA, and now you're in Vermont. And tell us a little about that.
Okay, so LA Flo was playing at the Grammy Museum. That was really exciting. So we did a concert there, and that was the last concert in our tour. It was kind of like a mini tour. So we started in New Orleans at the Jazz Museum, and then we played at the ZMR Awards. Then we went to Seattle, and then to Novato, which is in the San Francisco area, and then we finished in LA. And now I'm back on the East Coast.
That is awesome, and you're at a really fun place. I've stayed there before. It's a really beautiful space, and I love it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I've got a house in Newfane, and it's about 10 minutes away from Imaginary Road Studios because I spend so much time, recording with Will Ackerman at Imaginary Road, and I've worked there a few times and done some producing. So, I spend a few months of the year over here. I don't tell too many people that because I kind of hole up here and work. About getting things done.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I drove there in 2014 during a snowstorm, and it snowed a lot, and then it all melted within like a day. It was crazy.
Yeah. Is that when you were recording Fire in the Rainstorm?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great place to write and record here. There's something kind of magic, I think. There's some sort of creative thing that's happening because every time I come here, I've got a keyboard, I've got a guitar. Not that I'm particularly good on the guitar. I don't tell too many people that I play that. But every time I come, I'm able to, do a lot of good writing. Be in a good creative space.
That is awesome. I'm so glad that you have a nice place to hang out in and just kind of get a reboot after crazy times and traveling that you've been doing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, coming from Australia, I live 4.5 hours north of Sydney, so I have to. First of all, I've got to get to the airport, and then it's a 14-hour flight. Depends on the wind. It's so far that it could be 12 hours, it could be 15 hours. It really does depend on what you're flying on, which airline, and what the wind speed is. But let's call it 14 hours
Yeah.
to LA,
Oof.
and then usually I've got to go somewhere else after that. So I get quite a lot of jet lag for a few days, and it takes me a few days just to get in the time zone here.
I can only imagine. I need to come out there and to Australia and see what that's like.
You do.
you know,
You need to come out. Yeah, and you need to do a house concert on my Stewart and Sons piano, which is really beautiful, different.
that's cool. Hey, I'm gonna send a few shout outs. Hey, Dave Cornish. Hey, Steve. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Keith. It's good to see you all here. Some of you I can't see. I'm using my phone today so that I don't make a lot of tapping noises on the computer. But anyway, for just joining, I have Fiona Joy Hawkins here. She's joining via Skype, and she's on the East Coast, and I'm on the West Coast, and she's actually here in the U.S. to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm actually going to start out with a piece that is on her new supergroup album with Fiona. She's on the album. Lawrence Blatt, Jeff Foster, and Will Ackerman. And we're gonna listen to Waters Gather. Can't even talk today. Blah. Anyway, hey Michelle. So here we go. Wow, that was gorgeous. You wrote that one, didn't you?
I took the basic part into the studio, yeah, and then the guys one by one sort of sat down and put their little bit of sparkle and their part on, and that's what we came up with.
That is very cool. Um, hey, Mohammed and Manny and Michelle. Thank you. They're all saying they love the song. It's very beautiful.
Oh, good, thank you. That's great.
Well, tell us a little bit about Flo and your involvement.
My involvement with Flo, obviously, I'm the piano player and I do the vocal layers as well. I'm the only Australian in the group, so, which is kind of makes it difficult, for recording and stuff. We're actually back in the studio in 3 weeks' time, and we're talking about doing a second album. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great process. Working with those guys, we all sort of came into the studio with 2 or 3 pieces each, and then sort of gave it up to the group and came up with something that we discovered was quite a sort of a unique sound. We didn't really know what to expect. You never do. You don't know what's going to happen. You think you work well together because you've worked on your solo careers and your solo albums with each other, as session musicians. But then when you come together and try and write as a team, there's no given that it will work. And we're actually pretty happy that it did. It was great. I don't think my songs went how I expected they would go. You tend to have an idea when you write it that when you take it into the studio, this will happen. I'll have cello, I'll have whatever instrumentation, and then you take it in and you give it to the Flow members, and you just sort of sit back and you go, wow, I would never have done that, but that's cool. That's great.
Yeah, that is
Something
fun.
new.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I like collaborating with other musicians. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which might be scary, but
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time, it's really fun.
And there's some magic in it because you actually discover some things that you would not have tried yourself, and there's definitely is a learning process there.
That's true. That's so true. And
Only so many tricks in our little suitcase, we need to kind of put it out there and see what someone else can do.
right, right. And it's so funny how they interpret the music and how different, from you, somebody would pick that out of, like a melody out of your melody, and they do play around it. And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, how did that
And
happen?
these really cool kind of rhythmic things and just sort of stuff that I would never think to do. And you listen to it and you go, wow. And then Will picks up the guitar and does this kind of traveling, almost discordal sort of thing that gives you this sort of eerie traveling feeling. And you think, okay, would never have thought of that. That's awesome. And then Jeff does this sort of floating part that, so it worked out. It worked out really well.
Yes.
I do have to laugh though because Lawrence brought one song in which is just so beautiful. It's actually my favourite song, Rest Now, My Friend. I love that song. And he got called away on work. So he left the song with us. So he wasn't there when we were
Ha! I love
when
it.
he came back, he's listening going, what have you done to my song?
Actually, it's beautiful.
When he listened a few times, he really loved it, but he wasn't there to see to see what we were doing. So it came as such a surprise, what we'd done, and he really loved it. But it was just such an interesting thing to have somebody else's song and be able to do what you want with it. It was great.
I would have loved to seen his reaction. That is really fun when actually people do work together, and like you said, you never know what's going to happen, and it's
not what you expect.
No.
Then and sometimes you love it. I actually had that happen with Invisible Train once, and we sent the part out, and it was the only session that I wasn't there for, the only one. I was in Grand Junction at the time, and Will and Tom were working with Prameek Tubbs, and I kind of expected that it would be soprano sax, and they sent a part and it was EWI, electric wind instrument, and my initial reaction straight away when I heard the first note was, no, how can they do this? it was not what I expected. And then I listened to it a few times, and I thought, yeah, you guys totally nailed this. You made a really good call. Soprano sax was not going to work. This has worked. This is brilliant. It's a great part. And you just kind of have to get over your expectations sometimes, and
Yep.
that's why you have a producer too, because you trust your producer and they know.
Yep.
Usually they know better.
Yep. I've had to learn that, because I know I'm a rebel as it is, and I tend to argue a lot.
Oh.
So, but I've had to really, really learn that. So, we're going to go to the next song. We're actually going to go to her solo piano album called Story of Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I like this album so much is because I feel like the full whole year that I've been living, 2017 and 2018, uh, I've been dealing with my own ghosts. And I
Which
really
sounds
love,
like I actually had a few parallels, so I do understand. And I think a lot of people go through these years where several things go wrong. For me, it was ghosts, insanity, and angels. Basically, life, death, and insanity. People around me were affected, and it's life as art. The only way that you can deal with it sometimes is to put it down. Some people might use a pen and paper. For me, it's music, and that's how I get it off my shoulders. That's how I deal with it.
same. So, we're going to listen to the title track, Story of Ghosts by Fiona Joy. And she recorded this. Where did you record it, actually?
Blue Coast Records in San Francisco with Cookie Marenko,
That's
and
what
it's a
I
high
thought.
definition release, yeah. So it's available on SACD and
Okay.
Quad DSD download and all these, incredible high definition formats.
Cool. Well,
And so
well, why
this
don't you
record's
post
really
links to it while it's playing so people can go take a look at it? All right,
okay.
here we go. Story of Ghosts on the solo piano album by Fiona Joy. Hey guys, that was Story of Ghosts by Fiona Joy, and on her new solo piano album that she recorded at Blue Coast Records in San Francisco. I was asking her about the cover of the album Story of Ghosts. So what is that exactly? Who designed that?
Um, the album cover is actually using a video still. Sorry, I had to put my glasses on because I can't type or see what anyone's saying without glasses. I'm half, that's what happens when you get to over 50. So it was a video still. A company called Big Film, Big Movies did a little video,
Oh,
and I got them. I sort of went through the video and picked these beautiful moments where there was like a crossover of things happening, and then they did a video still, and we supplied that to Cookie, and Cookie really liked it, and she just used that as the cover, So it worked out quite well.
that's cool. I really like that, and I really like Cookie. I like her work ethic. I really like her company.
Yeah.
And to tell us a bit about Blue Coast.
Well, I love that their Cookie Marenko is the producer there. They're based in San Francisco, and everything they do is done kind of live. They try to do single takes so that there's not too much editing because you're working in DSD, which is a really high resolution format. So the idea is that everything is sold in high resolution. So when this album comes out, the physical CD comes out, it will be in SACD, which is a super audio CD. So up until now, you've been able to buy the high resolution download in up to quad DSD. And then the physical product arrives in a week's time on SACD. So that's exciting. I haven't seen it yet. So I haven't seen all the artwork, just the cover.
Oh
But
wow.
it's really pretty.
Wow, that is so cool. I can't wait to see the full album.
I know I get to see it next week when I go back to Blue Coast to do some more recording. I get to see what it looks like.
Yay. Um, Also, I wanted to ask you the name Story of Ghosts. What what caused you to name it, the full album, and then the song?
What caused me to name it Story of Ghosts?
Yes.
Well, I did an opus and I did Story of Ghosts, which was the lead-in piece, the first movement. Then I did Story of Insanity, and that's kind of this piece where it's sort of, yeah, you'll have to listen to it. And then I did Story of Angels, and it was this sort of cycle of, ghosts, insanity, and angels, and, back to what happened to me last year.
Yeah.
And one of the songs on the album had another title, and I ended up taking that as my basic into the Flow album, and that was known on Flow as Waters Gather, which is quite different because the difference between a solo piano version and a studio version with instrumentation, it's almost unrecognizable.
Wow, cool.
So I got to use the same song twice, basically.
Really? I did not know that. That's so funny. I mean,
Yeah.
I usually pick up on that, and I didn't even notice that.
Actually, you know what? Waters Gather may have been on Into the Mist, not Story of Ghosts. Yeah, it
Oh,
was on.
okay.
It was on Into the Mist, so it was the earlier album. I've got way too much music, and I can't remember what's where.
All right. All right. So, we're going to go to the next song, and it's from her album Story of Ghosts, and it's called The White Light. And then we'll come back and talk to you guys and end the show. So, here we go. hi, live shows. Your phone rings and welcome.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, that's what makes um, live radio, right? Live stream, live TV so funny and fun because you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, I had to shut the door to make sure my cat didn't come in here because she usually will come up here and go up and down the keys,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it'll interfere with the
Yeah.
sound.
I
So,
had a cat that came in once when I was recording Signature Synchronicity, the piano part at home, and the cat kept getting in through the curtain and coming over and trying to jump on my lap while I'm recording. And I'm thinking, oh, can somebody just take this cat and put it outside?
that is hilarious. That is so funny. Yeah,
Total distraction.
that's what makes it fun. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen, and I have a cat that just she loves to go up and down the keyboards. That's her thing. And so,
When it's turned on, does she like the sound or just walking on
she
it?
just I think she likes both. Cause I'll be in here playing, and then she'll come and want to play too.
Yeah, my cat's a piano cat. He's got his own little puff thing that he lies on, and it's next to the piano. And he's so, yeah. Tenth
That's
Life on Flow is actually named after my cat. My cat, that was actually the cat died.
oh
And
no,
I know, so I didn't know what to call it. And it was Jeff Oster's idea because he called it 10th Life.
I like that. That's
So it was,
so great.
it's a cat prayer.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I figured that when I saw the title of that. So
Yeah.
so
And I'm a cat person. I love cats.
me too. Yeah, my daughter wants to get two little kittens and bring them
Yeah.
home, but I'm allergic to them.
Oh,
But I don't know. We'll see how that works.
mm,
Um, aha.
huh.
My friend Chris, he said that oddly, I almost picked a little hint of Mike Oldfield in that one.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Wow.
that.
I guess everything's going to sound like something as well, isn't it? And it's just interesting to hear what people connect it with. It's
Hmm.
great.
So
I'm
what is White Light about?
White Light was written in the week before I recorded. And, I did mention I was dealing with a lot of really difficult things. I can't even go into it. It was
Yeah.
awful. And it was the thought of, okay, we're here now, and we were dead before we got here because we didn't exist, and we're fine now, and it hasn't affected us and it hasn't hurt us at all. So what happens afterwards? Like just that. So the White Light was about that kind of point where you cross over from where you were before you arrived here to when you're born, and just that thought process of where does it all start?
Wow,
I
I
was,
like that.
you know, life, death, angels, insanity. I was starting to question a few things, and it was just these questions came to me, and so life is art.
I like it. I could tell it was a question song
Mm,
because of the way it ended too. It was so open ended.
yeah,
The way.
yeah. And I always say there's beauty in sadness and sadness in beauty, and in beauty. And when you delve down into those things is when you really find your depth, your true depth. You
Exactly.
start to ask the big questions.
That is so true. Well, Fiona, we are so happy that you came here today and that all of you joined us. We thank you for all 11 of you. We had 14 at one point.
Uh-huh.
Share and like and comment and visit Fiona's music page and visit her music. She posted the links in the comments section. I will put links up later once the video is posted to this page. And I will also be posting replays on YouTube. So I hope to see you next week. Next week I will be solo, I think. I'll have to check my schedule. I could be wrong knowing how my life is right now. But thank you so much, Fiona. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun. It's been great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys take care. See you
Okay.
next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.